I asked one question. No, I didn't ask. I said one hot take. Death Battle is slowly rotting. I didn't expect anyone to agree, but it was pretty much unanimous. People said that Death Battle was slowly rotting. So, every show eventually goes through seasonal rot. Family Guy, SpongeBob, The Simpsons, but this is a different one. This is one of the first indie shows, and as you know, it's the reason why I started doing content. So in this short little video, we're going to be going over a couple reasons why Death Battle is slowly rotting. At most, 3. Starting off with the first point, their power scaling, which is the thing that they popularized. Trust me, if Death Battle did not exist, power scaling would not be a hobby, and power scalers would be working at it. Because good God, Death Battle has gotten objectively worse at power scaling, and I'm pretty sure it's not even the fault of Ben Singer and Chad James themselves, it's the fault of the research team who doesn't know how to research. There are objectively wrong feats that YouTubers are pointing out, and even feats that are objectively weaker. The main thing that I think this started in is Deku versus Miles. They came out 3 episodes after another MHA episode, and they outright used stats from Deku versus Asta. But why recalc something when you already have a calc for it and you used it 3 episodes ago? And you've done this in the past, why not do it now? And they even tried to nerf Deku to make it look like Miles had a chance. And the biggest example, in recent memory, is Bakugo versus Reze, where they weakened the weak feats when it came to MHA. This is Darren, 2 days after, finishing editing this video. That's a mistake that I made. They didn't even use the feat in that episode, which I think is worse, because why are you not using a feat that you explicitly said was a 2-sided one? Anyway, back to the video. How do you downscale a downscale? I have no clue, but, we all knew that this was a stomp from the beginning, which really made it dumb to... Why would you nerf a character? If it's a stomp, why not just be obvious about it? And they've been doing a whole lot of petty categories and this isn't a new thing. This has been all the way back in 2024. Bowser vs. Eggman had intelligence, and the most recent one has to be Bakugo vs. Reze with regeneration. Or stamina. They even said that it didn't matter anyway, so why even mention it when it doesn't matter? It just feels kind of redundant. And Bakugo vs. Reze leads me right to my next point. The matchups are declining. This is part of the reason why I think that Death Battle should have continued DBX, because half of the matchups that they do now are not it, bro. It mainly started in Death Battle 25 with matchups like Dante versus Clive, and they're even doing it recently, like Bakugo versus Reze, and it's just the matchups are heavily declining. The main reason why I'm saying this is because of Aang versus the Traveler. Poe was the more popular matchup, and the Traveler had other matchups. And I get the connections and all, but yeah, this kind of goes into both categories. The matchup is objectively, not good, and it's a massive, massive stomp, but the episode tries to make it look close. So, on to the third point. It just feels wrong most of the time. Oh, and, don't even get me started on Omni-Man versus Bardock, and, the speed category in Metal Sonic versus Cell. Let's start off with the speed category in Metal Sonic vs. Cell, because that's what I'm more familiar with. Yeah. So, Cell does not take speed. They said that Sonic had arguments for immeasurable speed, but like, why not use that? Like, why not use that in full? Why? Because apparently the researchers just don't buy it. Despite the fact that it is like, it's objectively there, you can't say that it's not there, despite the fact that it objectively is. And the research team for Omni-Man vs. Bardock was not it either. Like, how? You give him Super Saiyan, and you try to argue that Omni-Man is more powerful by using a feat that required a whole bunch of outside help. And, like, there is a scene in Goku vs. Superman where they said about 1/5 of it, but why not mention that here? He was one of 4 Viltrumites. Why not split the feat in 4? Like, why not just do that? It's that easy. Like, come on. Oh, and real quick, let's go over Guru versus Megamind. I do agree that Guru wins, but using personality traits to say, nah, he can't use that in terms of battle. You're using the first movie as a reference most of the time, so I don't get why you're not using the first movie as a reference when it comes to this. And that's my 3 main reasons why Death Battle is declining. It's the power scaling isn't bad. It's very weird. It's a weird case because it's like, it's downgrading to make other matchups seem close, even though they're stomps. And when they say a matchup is close, it's a stomp. Kind of like Bakugo vs. Reze and Guru vs. Megamind as an example. But hopefully they can get back on their feet and stop making so many forgettable matchups and so many episodes that basically no one is going to watch. And please don't take this as hate speech against Death Battle. I love Death Battle, but like, I've been noticing these patterns, and if Death Battle doesn't fix these problems soon, then the show might get to SpongeBob levels of bad, because even series that rely on other series as content have to fall eventually.
Alright, so that's the end of the video. Your random boy out.